We are now in a national park in Eastern Congo. In this national park, if we are lucky, we can see gorillas in the wild. However, if we are unlucky, we may encounter armed forces. This area where we are now is also rich in mineral resources, right?
The area is known for its tantalum, tin, and gold. There are mining sites here and there, but they are occupied by armed groups at the same time. Local youths are engaged in mining at the mining sites, but the armed groups take about half of the production. This becomes a source of funding for the armed groups, and their armed struggle continues.
The Democratic Republic of Congo, located in the center of the African continent. It is the second largest country in Africa, with an area about 4 times the size of France. Blessed with vast nature and abundant natural resources, Congo has suffered from poverty and conflict. Since 1998, the conflict in Eastern Congo has claimed more than 6 million victims. Various armed groups emerged during the conflict and continue to operate to this day. It is estimated that there are more than 100 armed groups in Eastern Congo. My Japanese channel has often covered Congo's history and conflicts. Some of these videos have been viewed hundreds of thousands of times. However, I had never set foot in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The most major reason for this is the lack of safety. The eastern part of the DRC is one of the areas where security is at the worst level in the world. In September 2023, I was finally able to travel to Eastern Congo and finally set foot in the region. In this video, I accompany Terra Renaissance, a Japanese aid organization, and report on the actual situation in the Eastern Congo.
現地の人たちがたくさん集まってアサンテサーナ武装勢力による大事件のヤギのちょん切られた玉がアクナマタタメキシコク
This video was originally produced in Japanese. An English voiceover was added later. Good morning, I am in Bukavu, the capital of South Kivu Province in DR Congo. Today I am heading to Kalonge, a rural area in Eastern Congo. The next 3 or 4 days will be the most difficult of our stay in the Eastern DR Congo. I am getting quite tired and will spend the rest of my stay taking care of my health as well as my safety. So let's keep up the good work today. In a place called Kalonge, where we will be going, we will be doing support activities for malaria control. We have come to a pharmacy in the city of Bukavu to buy a large quantity of malaria medicine. What you see over there now is the malaria prophylaxis. It looks like there are 50 bags of pills in one box, each containing 3 pills. It costs $13 per box. Can you give us a breakdown of what you purchased and the total price?
We bought 200 children's malaria pills and 50 adult malaria treatments. We also purchased 7,500 antipyretics. The antipyretics can be taken in conjunction with the malaria treatment or when a fever develops, even if you do not have malaria. Perhaps 1,500 to 2,000 people can take them. In addition, 250 mosquito nets were purchased. The total purchase price, in US dollars, is about $2,110. We also need to transport the purchased supplies from Bukavu to the village of Kalonge, which will cost us gasoline. The cost of gasoline is quite high, probably about $200 one way or $400 round trip.
We finally finished buying the malaria medicine. The top box is the malaria treatment or fever reducer. The bottom box is the malaria prophylaxis. We loaded these into the car and are now heading from Bukavu to Kalonge. We are loading the Terra Renaissance car. We are now leaving Bukavu for our destination, Kalonge. Can you give us a brief description of the place called Kalonge where we are going today and how to get to our destination, Kalonge?
We are heading north from Bukavu in South Kivu Province, where we are now, about 70 kilometers away. But the road is quite bad, as we are going under a mountain road in the rainforest. If we are lucky and the car doesn't get stuck, we can get there in 4 to 5 hours. But it takes roughly 7 to 8 hours, because we often get stuck.
Are there armed forces on the road we are about to take, just like the road we took the last time we came to Bukavu?
Yes, there are. The Kalonge area in South Kivu Province is also an area of activity for an armed group called Raya Mutomboki, which was originally derived from a vigilante group. Therefore, we are heading there after gathering information inside Kalonge to ensure our safety. Of course, there is no zero risk, but we have confirmed that it is safe to travel at this time today, and we hope to arrive before dark.
As you saw in the video, there were cars with UN written on them, and UN is an abbreviation for United Nations. I have seen other UN cars several times before today. The eastern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo is one of the world's largest areas of UN peacekeeping operations. PKO stands for Peacekeeping Operations. There are also water trucks running to carry water for the troops who are working in units like PKO. It has only been about 30 minutes since we left Bukavu, but we are now on an unpaved road. Since it is an unpaved road, the car is very bumpy. I took some anti-sickness medicine before we left, so I think I can stand it. I will do my best to shoot a video. About an hour has passed since we left Bukavu. We are now in a national park in Eastern Congo. In this national park, if we are lucky, we can see gorillas in the wild. We are just moving toward our destination, but to cross a national park with gorillas makes me feel that I have come to an amazing place. I have never experienced anything like this before in my life. However, if we are unlucky, we may encounter armed forces, so the situation has been tense all along. While in Eastern Congo, there is hardly a moment when I am free from tension, so it is mentally exhausting. I've been in the national park now for about an hour, and I've noticed that there are so many military personnel. Every 5 minutes we drive, there is a security checkpoint with a military man standing there with a gun. There, the military personnel check the cars passing by on the road, stop motorcycles, and conduct luggage inspections. I have to hide my camera at every security checkpoint to avoid shooting military personnel. I would really like to shoot that security checkpoint with my camera, but I must always be careful, because if a military officer finds me, I risk having my camera confiscated. Finally, we entered the Kalonge area, our destination. It was a long journey. This is the view we saw after passing through the rainforest of the national park. It is a very nice view with lush greenery. It seems to be at a high altitude. The temperature is comfortable and very pleasant. And since we are surrounded by such rich forests, I feel the air is very clean. I was tired from the long trip, but it refreshes me. It seems peaceful around here, but are there still armed groups?
Yes, the armed group Raya Mutomboki is active in this area as well. We need to be careful.
Just looking at this view, the temperature is so cool and comfortable that it seems like a nice summer retreat. What kind of place are they hiding in?
Basically, armed groups like theirs do not come out much during the day. However, at night, they sometimes attack along main roads and loot money and goods from people passing through there, so it is hard to tell during the day.
This area where we are now is also rich in mineral resources, right?
That's right. It is very green and very rich in underground resources. The area is known for its tantalum, tin, and gold. These minerals are used, for example, in the manufacture of electronic devices such as smartphones and laptops. There are mining sites here and there, but they are occupied by armed groups at the same time. Local youths are engaged in mining at the mining sites, but the armed groups take about half of the production. This becomes a source of funding for the armed groups, and their armed struggle continues. It is ironic that natural resources such as gold and tantalum, which the world covets, are abundant, but they are the reason for the continuing conflicts. As long as there are no wars or conflicts, this is a very natural and peaceful place. We have such beautiful forests and rich soil that we can grow anything we want for food. It is such a place blessed with a natural environment.
When I hear stories about armed groups, of course I have to be careful about my safety. But I had only had a frightening image of Kalonge, so I feel glad that I actually came and visited this peaceful and natural place.
This place is really beautiful. That is why I hope the war will end soon and the place will be safe. It is a place so rich in nature that it is even self-sufficient in nature.
I have always been interested in the issue of mineral resources in the Congo, and it is very moving to think that I am actually here now, in the very place where this problem is occurring. I will do my best to cover the story in Kalonge, and I look forward to continuing to work with you. The car is very dirty with mud because it has been on a very difficult road. Even the side mirrors are dirty with mud. If this car gets stuck in the middle of the road, it will be a big problem. So I hope Toyota's Land Cruiser will do its best. We finally arrived at our final destination, the Terra Renaissance office in Kalonge. It took us about 3 hours to get there today after leaving Bukavu. I had heard that when the roads are bad, the car gets stuck in the middle of the road. And in such cases, it can take 7 or 8 hours. But today we were very lucky and were able to come from Bukavu to Kalonge smoothly. I am going to have lunch at the Terra Renaissance office and then move on to the village of Kalonge to cover the local life and Terra Renaissance's support activities. This Kalonge region is an area affected by the conflict in Eastern Congo. There is a dressmaking store that was opened by women affected by the conflict based on the support of Terra Renaissance. And I would like to visit it and hear more about it. Mr. Ogawa, you are wearing light clothes. Are you okay?
Yeah, I always dress in the most comfortable way while traveling.
In Africa, short pants and flip-flops are rare.
Of course, when I go out in the field, I wear long pants.
I basically recommend long sleeves and long pants for people going to Africa. This is to protect their skin from malaria mosquito bites, as well as the strong sunlight. But after living in Africa for 20 years, do you not mind exposing your skin?
No. Yes. Yes, I may be a little careless. But malaria-carrying mosquitoes are active at night, so I try to wear socks and long pants at night. By the way, that's coffee.
Is this a good place to grow coffee because of the high altitude?
Yes, it is. We get very good Arabica coffee beans. They are very good quality coffee beans that can be sold in Japan and Europe. However, it is difficult to find a place to process them.
It's a problem that can be seen in many places in Africa, isn't it? Raw materials and resources are available in abundance, but they cannot be processed, and no value can be added with them.
Neighboring Burundi has a similar problem. Burundi and Rwanda have almost similar climates, so good quality coffee beans grow in both regions. In Rwanda, there are many factories that process coffee beans, so the coffee is distributed globally as Rwandan coffee. On the other hand, Burundi coffee is not distributed globally. As for Eastern Congo, the situation is even more difficult than in Burundi. It is too risky for business people to come in and invest here.
In that sense, too, the impact of the conflict is hindering local development.
The area is really rich in nature, so this is a good place to do beekeeping. We haven't been able to embark on coffee yet, but we are doing beekeeping. Kalonge is surrounded by rainforest, but this rainforest is home to a wide variety of plants and many bees. We are able to collect honey of fairly good quality with a sugar content of about 81–82%.
There is coffee, there is honey, and the region has the potential for development.
The land is also very fertile. Thanks to the rain, we can grow a variety of crops. However, due to the conflict, the environment is not conducive to adequate agriculture. In addition, during the rainy season, about 60–70% of the roads in South Kivu are blocked, making it difficult to transport supplies by truck. Although emergency aid is occasionally provided by aid agencies, it cannot overcome the constant hunger, poverty, and malnutrition. So the first project we started is a communal farm by local people. It is for people in 12 villages that are sometimes victims of raids by armed groups. We will produce food in their communal farms. And if one village is attacked or their food is looted, we will share the food produced in their communal farms. It is difficult to bring food from outside to this village, but there is land here that can produce crops. Of course, we are under conflict, but it is a low-intensity conflict of sorts. It is not a daily conflict all the time, but there are occasional raids and looting by armed groups. The people here are mostly ordinary people living in ordinary villages. In Congo, there are roughly 5.4 million internally displaced persons. The number may be higher now. The number of people is too large to build refugee camps, so most of Congo's internally displaced people are living in ordinary houses or in the villages of their relatives. They cannot survive relying solely on aid from outside. Even if the environment was not adequate for farming, they have to do production activities by themselves. There is no future for the people in this area if they are dependent on aid anyway. There are many ways to provide aid, but at least here, just giving food directly is not sustainable. We teach skills to the local people so that they can make a living using local products as much as possible. For example, we teach beekeeping skills so that they can produce and sell their products. In this way, our ultimate goal is to help the local people to make a sustainable living. We need to work simultaneously with emergency support to give goods directly and support for self-reliance or improving livelihoods.
We are going to have a local lunch at the Terra Renaissance office. Lunch is being prepared here right now, so I will show you the kitchen. This is the kitchen of the Terra Renaissance office. It is very local. Take a look at the food he is making.
What is this one?
Ugali.
Ugali.
This is the first time I have seen ugali being made.
This one is mixed. This is cassava flour mixed with corn flour.
Goat is crying. Are we going to eat?
At night.
At night.
I can hear the goats now and they will eat it tonight.
This is cow meat, beef.
Oh, beef.
This is for you guys.
Oh,
This is Irish. This
Irish potato.
They are making it for me and Mr. Ogawa. The goat keeps bleating very close by, so let's go see the goat. Where are you? Oh, it's trapped now. The goats have been bleeding all the way from inside this shed. We will eat this goat tonight. Thank you. We will take your life. Is this the cloth that Terra Renaissance takes to the women it supports?
Yes, that's right. The women in the dressmaking store, who became independent because of our support, are now teaching dressmaking skills to their neighbors. These are materials for them to use when they give those lectures.
The African cloth here was brought from Bukavu. Is African cloth hard to find in a rural village like Kalonge?
It is not sold in this village. These African cloths are not available in the village, so we buy them in Bukavu city, where our office is located, and bring them to this village.
Finally, our lunch has arrived. What you see now is beef, cow meat, and this is ugali, commonly eaten in Africa. It is made from a mixture of corn flour and cassava flour. It is then mixed with hot water and kneaded. Here are the Irish potatoes and egg rolls they prepared for me in case the local food didn't suit my palate.
Ugali, you can eat every day.
Yeah, Bulgari.
You love ugali?
Yeah, it's so fine. It's good.
I would like to try ugali and report on its taste. I've had ugali many times in Africa, but this time it seems to be mixed with cassava flour as well as corn flour, so it may be a little different from what I usually eat. It has a slightly coarser texture than the ugali I usually eat. I can't honestly say it's very delicious, but the cassava flour does make it a little easier to eat. In the next video, we will go into the village to hear about the lives of people affected by the conflict in Eastern Congo and see the activities of Terra Renaissance, a Japanese aid organization on the ground. Again, we are doing our best to shoot in Eastern Congo, so if you find this video interesting, please hit the like button. I hope you will subscribe to my channel, as I will continue to bring you the reality of Eastern Congo, which is difficult to find out from other media. Thank you again for watching to the end. I am glad you took an interest in my activities. See you again in the next video.
Sava?
Sava.
Jambo?
Jambo.
Asante sana. Asante.
Asante.
Asante.